Pride in place. It's a new government community investment programme, but a Prime Minister proud of appointing the paedophile Epstein's friend Peter Mandelson as US ambassador. He's anything but.
None of us knew the depth and the darkness of that relationship. Before he was appointed ambassador, Mandelson was asked directly about the nature of his relationship with Epstein. The information now available makes clear that the answers he gave were lies. He portrayed Epstein as someone he barely knew.
This is Mandelson looking, well, quite at home in an Epstein property. It's just one disclosure in the US Department of Justice's Epstein Files. They show Mandelson when a cabinet minister in 2009 and 2010 leaking confidential and valuable government information to the late billionaire sex criminal. So the Prime Minister wanted to speak to the girls and women who were victims of Epstein's sex crimes.
They have seen accountability delayed and too often denied. To them, I want to say this. I am sorry. Sorry for what was done to you. Sorry that so many people with power failed you. Sorry for having believed Mandelson's lies and appointed him. And sorry that even now, you're forced to watch this story unfold in public once again.
Time and again during the general election campaign, you promised to end chaos in politics. You failed miserably, and there is no one to blame but yourself.
Am I frustrated that the focus is not on that and on other things because of the misbehaviour and deceit of other people?
But it's your appointment, Prime Minister.
I understand that, but I was lied to. I was lied to. Deceit. Now, am I frustrated and angry that the good work we're doing gets out of focus because of that, and that tomorrow's front pages are unlikely to be about the Pride in Place project? Of course I am.
How upset are Labour MPs with Starmer?
What's happened is an unforgivable betrayal of our stance on violence against women and girls. That has to be the first thing, our thoughts about the survivors. There is no reason why, no good reason, I think, why Mandelson should have been appointed in the first place.
He has to act to change what's happening in number 10. I don't think we can carry on with that at the moment.
I think in practical terms, the Prime Minister's position is just not tenable. It has solidified my view that we need a change in leadership.
And the Tory leader says she'll help if those MPs want to evict him.
If they think that this is a reason for the Prime Minister to go, they should come speak to our whip's office and we can look at a no-confidence motion.
Bunting and smiles here in Hastings, presumably because only two of those around him are MPs and they're pretending everything's OK. Robert Peston, News at 10.
Well, the Prime Minister's words today do still leave questions about why Lord Mandelson was appointed ambassador to Washington. As far back as June 2023, the Financial Times reported that Jeffrey Epstein appeared to maintain a particularly close relationship with Lord Peter Mandelson after his conviction, including claims that Mandelson stayed at Epstein's townhouse in Manhattan at a time the financier was in prison for soliciting prostitution from a minor. Ahead of securing the job as ambassador in 2024, Sir Keir Starmer was provided with a summary of the potential conflicts surrounding his appointment. The file has sort of included the Financial Times article and was reportedly explicit that Mandelson had continued his friendship with Epstein after his conviction. During the vetting process, it's reported Sir Keir asked Lord Mandelson 3 questions about his relationship with Epstein, including why he had continued their friendship after he was first convicted. Number 10 were apparently happy with the answers to those questions. Mandelson was then subject to standard vetting by the security services and was appointed ambassador in December 2024. 9 months later, emails showed that Mandelson had sent supportive messages to Epstein as he faced charges for sex offences in 2008, prompting his sacking by the Prime Minister. Well, Roberts is here. It may take many weeks, if not months, to get all the answers, but what does this mean for the Prime Minister's job security, Robert?
So I've been talking to Labour MPs today and indeed only a few minutes ago, and they are in despair. I mean,
and for one of the reasons actually is precisely the point that you raise, which is there was this vote in the House of Commons yesterday, which means that every bit of communication that Peter Mandelson had with ministers and officials while he was ambassador will be handed over to this parliamentary body called the Intelligence and Security Committee. And they have been ordered to publish everything that doesn't jeopardise national security, right? Or indeed international relations. And the worry is that what we'll see, because, I mean, we've actually seen this in terms of sort of Mandelson's, emails to Epstein, that it will include very negative things about colleagues. Can you imagine what that's like? What that'll be like for the Labour Party if that gets into which it will get into the public domain. It could even include really unpleasant things about Trump from some people in Britain, ministers and officials going back to Mandelson. So, MPs are terrified that they are going to be in as a party into weeks of negative publicity, so basically manifestations of disunity within the party. Separate from all of that, we know that we haven't got everything out of the Trump files that would be damaging about Mandelson. Separate from that, we've got the police investigation, and and then there is this whole issue which you referred to in your introduction about whether or not the vetting on which the Prime Minister then made his judgment was rigorous enough, and then therefore whether the claim, this is the sort of at the heart of it, that the Prime Minister made today, that it was reasonable to accept Mandelson's excuses, actually hold any water. And if I'm honest with you, what MPs say to me is they do believe that the Prime Minister is fatally damaged. His refusal to get rid of his Chief of Staff, which some of them, Morgan McSweeney, some of them have been demanded, they say actually makes him weaker. And I have to say the number of MPs who've just said, look, it's a question of when, not if, Starmer goes, is growing by the hour, by the day.
A PM in a precarious position. OK, Robert, many thanks indeed. Well, last Friday's drop of 3 million pages of Epstein evidence included an email introduction from Andrew Mountbatten Windsor to a 26-year-old Russian woman who Epstein describes as clever, beautiful, trustworthy. Today, we managed to speak to her in the United States, and she told us she was finding the situation extremely hard at the moment.
The impact of the Epstein Files has been felt around the world, but in Florida, we spoke to one woman at the centre of allegations about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. ITV News has decided not to name her, but she is a woman who was both abused by Epstein and who recruited other women into his network.
We spoke to the woman for several minutes off camera today. She said she'd found the situation extremely hard, but over the years had grown very strong. She said she didn't feel she had the capacity to go public at the moment.
The Russian woman is referred to by Epstein as he emailed the former Duke in 2010. On August the 11th, Epstein emails Andrew saying, "I have a friend who I think you might enjoy having dinner with." Andrew replies the next day, "Of course, I'm in Geneva until the morning of the 22nd, but would be delighted to see her. Will she be bringing a message from you? Please give her my contact details to get in touch." This email was also copied to the woman we spoke to. And we know it was her because the US Department of Justice failed to redact her email address on one copy of the exchange. We have since pointed out their omission. Epstein then writes back to Andrew describing the woman as 26, Russian, clever, beautiful, trustworthy, and yes, she has your email. The Russian woman is represented by this lawyer, Brad Edwards, who's considering a civil claim against the former Duke on behalf of one client. That client claims she was sent by Epstein to Andrew's then residence, Royal Lodge in Windsor, to have a sexual encounter with him. It's not yet clear if the woman we spoke to is the same woman at the centre of this potential civil case. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has not responded to any of our questions about his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, but has previously denied any wrongdoing. Back home today, the questions about the King's brother keep coming.
Charles! Have you pressurised the police into not investigating Andrew?
This phone footage was released by the campaign group Republic. We asked the organisation if the heckler was one of their members. They told us he is a supporter, but was there on his own accord. He did send them the video. ITV News attempted to ask the King further questions about Andrew.
Your Majesty, will your family help with the Epstein investigation? Your Majesty, do you have a message for the victims?
No answer, but each day it appears the Epstein Files are yielding more clues about the scope of his network of abuse. Dan Rivers, News at 10, Florida.
And Chris is here with me. Chris, there is no sign that this is the end of the claims and there are more tonight.
Yes, I said, I think, in this very seat last night, who knows what documents we'll get tomorrow. We now have the answer to that. And to understand the significance of these new emails that have been revealed tonight, you need to think back to a couple of things. People might remember the photograph of the then Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein in Central Park in New York. And you might remember the Newsnight interview when Prince Andrew, as he was then, said, well, I went to tell Jeffrey Epstein face to face that I no longer wanted to have this friendship with him. You might remember the phrase, I felt it was the honourable and right thing to do. So we're talking about December 2010, and these emails that we have uncovered tonight basically show a conversation about a very, let's say, lavish dinner party that Prince Andrew had and was at whilst he was staying at his house, one that was described as being Jeffrey Epstein being accepted by the highest level of smart New Yorkers. And perhaps rather more alarmingly, there is an email conversation between Jeffrey Epstein and an unnamed person, but I'll just read it to you. Jeffrey Epstein writes, anyone new for tonight? This is on the 4th of December. The reply he gets, hi, Jeffrey, not yet, but I'm working on that. Do you want to see blanked out name or blanked out name again? And he replies a little bit later, 3 would also work. Now, was he talking about 3 p.m? Was he talking about 3 women? We don't know. But the key point is to remember that this was all happening at the very time that Prince Andrew, as he was in New York with Jeffrey Epstein, staying at his house.
Yeah, still so many questions. OK, Chris, thank you.